Whoa. See who this is. This looks like a hacker game right there.
Nesh and Herbmon are going to make the game, and I have to play too, so you're solo again.
Sorry, what was that?
Nesh and Herbmon are going to make it, and then I'm playing now too, so you're solo.
Okay. Solo again. This is Diggity. Pandorian Sword. We got Artosis in here, the man himself.
Yo. Is there a headset for me? Does this one work?
Should be, yeah. One of these two.
Hello? Oh. Talk?
Check, check.
Oh, okay. That kind of works.
It's been a long time since we've casted together.
It has fucking been, hasn't it?
And actually, I think the last time we casted, it was not a great cast for me. I was still a newbie. You were like, this is ZVZ. I don't know ZVZ versus...
What did we cast together?
It was something through like SC for All.
Ah, yes. I remember because SC for All worked with your casting page. What was it called?
SC2GG.
Yes, SC2GG. That's right. That's right. Because Peanut came to Korea and met with her and we casted some with you guys. Yeah, no, that's only 15 years ago.
It's like, yeah, that was only 15 years ago.
That was only 15 years ago.
Jesus, we've known each other for at least 15 years.
More than that, I think, by a little bit at least.
Getting old. But we're waiting for Herbmon versus Nesh, which I think is going to be an incredible game. The winner of that is the guy you're facing down.
That's right.
That's right. Herbmon's my dark horse, actually. I think he could go pretty deep.
Yeah? He's actually pretty good. Like, the thing is, I kind of look at him as, like, half casual or something, right? Like, he doesn't play as much as a lot of the other good players here. But, like, I played a couple practice games with him yesterday, and one I beat him pretty bad, and the other was actually pretty close. It was a pretty good game, so...
Unfortunately, his weakest matchup is Terran.
Oh, is it?
But he's got really, really strong versus... His ZVZ is actually really entertaining, because he'll actually pull out, like, weird builds. But his APM's really high. He's got a really good head on his shoulders. But yeah, I think it's the casual thing. You're right, where he's kind of like, do I really want to like, yeah. But I think he can go pretty good. All right.
Yeah, so him against Nesh. I don't know how active Nesh is. He told me he's been playing for a couple weeks now to get ready for this, but like Nesh is, I mean, he's a family man, you know, how much time you really have to practice, so I don't know what to expect. He looked okay in some of the latter games I was watching him play, maybe not as fast as he used to be, but...
Adjust this.
Did you did Jaehyun versus Zen?
Yep.
Let me guess, Jaehyun won?
Jaehyun barely won. Zen actually looked pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sick. This is the fun thing about LANs, is some people just really show up and play really well. Some people are better under pressure and stuff. It's very exciting. Dude, this is literally why I'm in esports. This experience exactly.
This is the most fun I have casting.
Yeah. Is
events like this where I'm like in a fucking closet, and it's like you know, whatever temperature, some like random little internet cafe. This is I love this. This is what I live for. Zerg violence. Herbmon calling it. Nesh, I gotta say, so this time last year, Nesh was in excellent condition.
Yeah.
And he was playing at the level of like, he was having fantastic games versus Machine, who was also in good shape at that time. Shout out to him in the chat again.
Yeah.
He said he's been active basically since then, though.
He has been active since then.
Yeah.
He's probably
been inactive since then.
Okay.
And he's gotten a little bit of practice coming into this. And I also know that he went up partying with Raz last night. And where Raz seems to bounce back pretty well.
Those Protoss genes, man.
Yeah, we'll see if Nesh has that same sort of bounce back. Waiting on them to go ahead and get started. You guys ready?
They might be waiting for you.
Go. Here, I'm talking to you, and they're like waiting on me.
Oh. Yeah, it should be an interesting match. I really don't know what Nesh is going to bring. I have a decent idea of what Herbmon's going to bring. He seems to like Muta heavy pretty well, but
Herbmon starting bottom right hand corner as the... I feel like this is an appropriate color for Zerg, as the kind of flesh-colored Zerg. Bottom left-hand corner, we got Nesh starting as the yellow Terran. This is going to be on Vermeer. Herbmon does like playing more of the standard, Muta into third hatch, try to get to Defiler Swarm hold style.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I feel like that he has a rough time with it and can sometimes get panicky, especially when he's just having to drop swarms at multiple locations to fend off. And here I feel like I'm giving you notes for your next game down the line.
Yeah. Keep them coming.
But But Herbmon is a solid player, and especially I feel like his Mutamicro is really, really strong. And
his Mutamicro was good yesterday. I was actually pretty impressed by it.
I feel like that's... I'm trying to think of where I would compare it. I think Striker's Mutamicro is a little bit better. Hawk's Mutamicro is a little bit better. But he's not that far behind that level. And so he can win games just going Muta all in, but it's just that's not what he typically does.
Yeah.
Looks like he is going to get first scout Overlord slowly making the way down there.
He might, though. He did go really heavy mutas against me yesterday. He actually stayed muta a lot longer than I thought he would. It kind of threw me off a little bit, and I took more damage than anticipated. But this is actually something a lot of players have been talking about, especially I was talking about it with Gypsy, where most of these players don't get to play on turn rate 24 very often, and mutas are way scarier on turn rate 24.
This was something I was actually discussing last night about like something that might hold back the foreigner community at large is you got to have 3 different build orders, right? You've got your build order where you're in actual LAN conditions with turn rate 24.
Yeah.
You've got your absolute like I can't play in this lag build order. And then you kind of got like
that's what you use against Ghost of Dark.
Exactly. And then you have I remember LZ Gamer explicitly stating that he did. He's like I'm going to abuse Terran when I know the lag's bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it just makes sense. Looks like we have a 12 hatch opener here from Herbmon. We have the barracks being built. But it looks like it's going to be first scout from Nesh as well. Let's see if Herbmon draws that drone back as soon as he sees... nope, not adjusting the drone overall, so not getting quite reaction. Could be nerfs here. But in the meantime, Nesh getting an eye full, and looks like we're seeing a little bit of a later gas around 216. That's still muta possible, but as far as like rushing the mutas right to the base, it's going to be a few seconds short.
Yeah, looking pretty standard on both the sides. Nesh, let's see if he goes 15 command. He's already got 17? That's kind of a weird build. He didn't start his second depot, and he actually got the Marine first. So not like super optimized build. Normally when you scout this, you cancel the Marine, get the command center slightly faster, and then go depot racks Marine. Just because that like super optimizes you to have enough units that you might not have to build a bunker, but it's fine. It's fine.
I wonder if that's the rust coming in. But yeah, getting first scout, still building the Marine. Herbmon now drawing that drone back. And from here, I'm kind of curious what Nesh is going to play because I feel like the meta has shifted a decent amount in the last year.
Yeah.
Where some people were doing because like everything has gone more towards the 2 racks academy these days, I feel like.
Yeah.
Whereas before, back when he was playing, it was still kind of like, okay, go 5 racks with the early engineering bay. But it looks like he is going to open up 2 racks. And I'm wondering if he's just going to do the old, safe, standard 2 racks play or if he's going to throw something else in between. In the meantime, we got a in-base 3rd hatchery for Herbmon.
Yeah, he was liking this against me. It's a little bit more macro-esque, right? Like, you can skip Zergling speed with this, for instance, and just focus on your drones a little bit more, sunken if you need. But one thing I want to mention, Nesh is actually getting a very fast gas with his 2 racks. Not entirely sure what this build is, but honestly, if you made like 6 Lings as Herbmon, this could throw his build way off, but it doesn't look like Herbmon's going to do that.
Yeah, it looks like most of the larvae being dead. He's still keeping those larvae down, and it looks like the larvae mostly being dedicated to macroing up right this stage. Overlord making its way to upper right corner. So I think this is going to be a mute opener from Herbmon, and I haven't seen... Usually, I've seen him just play 2 hatch up to this style, so I'm kind of curious what adjustment we're going to see. Layer just about finished. I'll be interested to see what his adjustment in play, but yeah, this is looking a little bit more modern, and I'm wondering if this is something he practiced for this tournament in particular.
Yeah, this is like more popular nowadays than trying to make the 3rd hatch on location, because it's a reaction to what you mentioned before with the Academy Rush being like so popular, because the Academy Rush was a counter to 3rd base on location for Zerg with 2 hatch, and then the 3rd hatch in main base just says, screw you, Academy Rush. But this is not an Academy Rush, actually. I looked at it wrong. It's actually a very fast E-base. So he is kind of playing that style you were talking about that he used to like.
Yeah, so going eBay +1, Academy to follow. To get that +1 out a little bit further helps against those Mutalists. I was talking to Hawk about this actually a couple months ago after that show match you had against him, and he really likes moving into this 3 hatch style because you just get that extra larva to work with and a little bit more ground control in the mid game. And I kind of like it too, honestly, for Zerg players, especially considering how just aggro all of the Terran builds have been lately. It just feels like there's just been a huge renaissance of absolutely all sorts of craziness.
Yeah, I like the build too. I think it's the best Zerg has right now. It's very, very sturdy. Now Herbmon is sending a drone up, so it looks like he is going to take his 3rd in the top right somewhere. We'll see if he's he normally takes in the main base, I believe. Nesh with that really quick +1. I wonder if he's going to go up to 4 racks. Because like against this muta timing, normally you go 4 racks with this. He could squeeze a 5th if he really wants, but That's a hard build to do, I think. Like, you got to cut SCVs just right.
Looks like we are going to see at least 6 Mutalisks out on the field. 3, maybe go up to 8, 9. We'll have to see down the line once they're hatched. It is possible just to go. Some players, I've seen Hawk do this, which I'm sure is really aggravating for some players, where rather than going for the attack, he just builds the Mutalisks to go a little bit harassed. But I think it's going to be so Nesh a little bit asleep at the wheel. The Zergling's able to dive in and get that turret, that natural expansion.
That's actually a bit painful. The mutas are going to get here before that turret's done, just before it's done. So it's only 5. You don't have to worry about it. It's going to take 2 swipes to get the SCV, so not as scary. But yeah, he's getting up plenty of turrets, it looks like.
So we already got 3 turrets and +1 weapons not that far away.
I guess it does finish just before the mutas get there still. Damn, those build fast.
I think that was because of the later gas, too, because rather dropping at 205, 207, he got it down at like 216.
Got you.
And so he was just a little bit later with that gas to get the Mutalisk up in the air. The Overlord backing up, and Herbmon taking a lot of damage on that Overlord initially. That might have been the one he had Macro Hawk. He does have that hatchery position, but yeah, Nesh going up to 5. And let's see if he drops that.
Wow. Yeah, he is going the 5-Rex. Good call there, Diggity. You can see this really is the style that he prefers. So this is going to be like really heavy Marine Medic. And he's going to have to leave his base as +1 and range finish. Like, as soon as those are done, he needs to be out there. Because if Herbmon gets to Lurker, Herbmon's going to have a big advantage.
Right now, having a little bit of trouble microing. They're coming around. The Zerglings again sweeping around, getting some free damage on that turret. And now that natural expansion only has 2 turrets defending, so a decent amount of damage. But now, Nesh starting to move out on the map. +1 weapons is finished.
Nice.
So taking a degree of map control, and that's going to back those Mutalisks off, which is just in the nick of time.
Ooh. That's always so scary, right? That can end the game. Like, if you just let him sit there for a second. But look, at this point, like, yeah, Herbmon's done all right with the mutas, but as long as you keep your units forward, Herbmon is, until he has lurkers ready, is going to have to defend with mutas. So that's going to be your missile turrets now, is moving out on the map.
Third gas just about coming online. We do have, it looks like a Queen's Nest dropping preemptively, and he wants to get to that Spire Tech as rapidly as possible. We do have the Hydral's Den. I'm going to assume Lurker Tech is building out of that. Critically, we have the Creep Colony drop, but not upgraded, so that is going to be an option. We don't have that second one down as well. And Nesh starting to move out and apply pressure.
Oh my god. I think he's going to kill him, man. Like, that's so many Marines. Holy crap. The mutas really have to do some heavy lifting here. Or he needs to get Sunkens down. He needs like 4 Sunks and his mutas to hold this. That is, dude, that's so many Marines. Nesh might just kill him.
Yeah, I think Nesh might be able to just punch through. This is kind of my concern here, is just not enough Sunken colonies. Herbmon trying to buy time by putting those Mutalisks in the way and drawing the Marines to the south, actually getting some good kills, which is buying time for these creep colonies to get down. But this is only 2, and this is still a good amount of Marines out on the front. But some nice micro from Herbmon, honestly, to stave out what I thought might be a game-killing maneuver there.
Yeah, if he didn't have that nice Mutalisk micro there and you run in when there's 1 sunk with this, yeah, I mean, that could be game over right there, seriously. These Sunken Busts are like the scariest things for Zerg.
A little bit of rust there from Nesh, moving the Marines too far forward and off time, and so going into Sunken Rage. And Herbmon capitalizing on it, getting a good amount of kills.
I think he has just enough right now to hold on. Definitely needs those lurkers out. Once he has lurkers securing top right and here, and look how muta heavy he is, seriously. Like, he's liking the mutas here on land. Like, yeah, I thought he would have a lurker by now. You know, with that, when you saw the Hydra Den?
Yeah, he had the Hydra Den down, but right now he's almost playing like pseudo crazy Zerg style, where he's not dropped. We don't have any Hydralisks out here, so I'm wondering if he's just going to try to skip it, drop the Den, and play from here. It could also be, again, tournament nerves right this second. He's got the 3 Sunken Colonies. He's got a lot of Zerglings in between. It could be that he started lurker range a little bit late somewhere in there, and so he's just going to try to crush this army with units sweeping around to get reinforcements. The Zerglings engaging, and honestly, if the Mutalisks sweep up in a hurry, they should be able to defend this nicely. But Nesh, beautiful between point A and point B, able to back out just on the edge of that.
That was an excellent retreat. The fact that he got rid of all the Zerglings, Herbmon is under a lot of pressure right now. Like, honestly, I think that right now he's probably slightly better than Nesh. He's been a bit more active lately, but like right now Nesh is keeping that pressure on like magnificently. Does Nesh have any tech back at home? He must have a starport by now, right?
We got 1 starport building. This is a pretty late starport.
Yeah.
And there's the science facility as well, which is not up. So at the very least, in Herbmon's favor, these Mutalisks will be more active because that's going to be a later science vessel out. But we have some Marines marching top right. We do have lurkers up here in the upper right-hand corner and an Nidus Canal producing, so should be able to defend it at this stage. But we'll see if Nesh, well, nope, going to hold back. I actually think Herbmon's in an okay position. I think he's defended here.
Yeah, it seems like he's going to get all his defense up. So, you know, that was pretty tight for a pretty long time. But actually, when you've gone for a 5 racks and Zerg has their third, they have their lurkers up, and then you look at Nesh and he's playing on 1 starport right now. The only way to do anything against Zerg here really is a starport. Like, I guess if you had a factory with an add-on, you were making tanks, that would open up opportunities, but it's going to take a little bit before he can do anything. So Herbmon has a lot of time to work with right now, and honestly, I think that what we'll see is Herbmon is going to catch up and then maybe pass Nesh slightly here.
Yeah, I think he's got the Defiler mount out, and I wouldn't be shocked if he can get a Defiler or 2 up before Nesh has the Science Vessels to really deal with it, because this is the time period where you need to start taxing Zerg gas and make sure that gas doesn't build up. And right now, Herbmon banking a lot of gas to go for those heavy late game units. He's got, what, 5 lurkers at the natural expansion. I don't know that he's got them bundled up. That's a lot of irradiate to try to work through. Comsatting here.
Take all day. When they're stacked like that, man, you got to irradiate, wait for it to die, irradiate. And then they start doing things like you morph an egg on there, you can't click it, you put an overlord over, you can't click it. Yeah, that's pretty invincible.
In the meantime, Nesh just trying to box Herbmon in to make sure that he can't sneak out any place. So hopefully he can get towards that larger science vessel count and start dropping irradiates down. But now testing the front, losing a good bunch of Marines and turning right back around.
Yeah, you never know exactly how many lurkers are there, right? So he comes in, the mass spines come out, blow up Marines. Okay, back up out of there.
Looks like Nesh is building that 3rd command center to go ahead and grab that. He's also getting that 2nd control tower up and starting to get the science vessel count. But man, this is the first science vessel out on the field, and it's not even on the forward front here, around the 12-minute mark. So this has been a lot of time for Herbmon to just sit back, bank gas, and feel comfortable.
Look at this also. Nesh is taking top left, so he's going for a double expand. You know, it's great to see an old player like Nesh. You know, Nesh used to play with us way back in the day and everything. And it's great to see someone like him able to return it. You can see all these fundamentals that he still retains. It's like, yeah, we're going to double expand to another main and my regular 3rd, add more barracks, keep the Marines in front of Zerg. It's like, this is some very strong play from Nesh, honestly.
I kind of like the response as well, because while Herbmon is playing very, very passively and worrying about securing his 4th, in the meantime, Nesh is going to already be in a strong economic position to follow this up. He got some dropships behind it. And honestly, if he doesn't engage Nesh at some point here, Nesh is going to have a strong enough economy where he's just going to be able to throw wave after wave and not too long to follow it up. And we'll see how strong the drop goes. It looks like he's going to move some lurkers forward at the very least. Ooh, good shot there. Obliterating the Marines top right. That's going to make him feel really comfortable. Let's see how well he responds to the follow-up.
Ooh, a dropship. Okay, this is the point where you're looking for those asymmetrical rewards, right? Like, irradiates are great, but if you get a dropship off, it's so much better than a science vessel. Let's see what he does. If he drops it right on the edge and stims in, he's going to get a lot.
There's a lot of tech up here as well. You got that Ultralisk Cavern up here. We got 2 Nidus Canals. I think that might have been a mistake. So, I mean, that's unfortunate. We have only Scourge, which will be able to wipe up the science vessel, but not a lot else. 1 Nidus Canal, but the 2nd Nidus Canal, I wonder if that was an intentional defensive thing. So I would wanted to say it was a mistake, but now it actually might play out for Herbmon because he's got a backup Nidus Canal already, but I don't see units flooding through right this second.
He actually dealt with that really well. He lost very little there. Like a Nidus, sure. Ooh, but Nesh with a counterattack into the 4th. Everything worth it for Nesh. You're very, very happy in this position as Terran. He's killed those lurkers. He's getting the hatchery. He's going to be able to snipe the hatch no matter what. Like, Nesh just needs to move to the left, target it. And, you know, that's... If you keep Zerg on 3 gas, you got it.
And it critically, yeah, it's denying that 4th gas. Denying that 4th gas, that's... Gas is the lifeblood of Zerg, and in particular in this matchup, that's where you get... That's because everything for Zerg is gas dependent. It's the Defilers, it's the Lurkers, it's eventually the Ultralisks at this stage. And if you don't have that 4th gas, you're basically just sitting in defense mode. And on top of that, with Nesh grabbing that is going to be at 4 bases, he's going to have a whole lot to work with. We can just start pouring units out and keep this pressure up.
All right, so, I mean, that is a lot of pressure. I did hear a vessel die. You know, I think the big problem here is Nesh is just getting way too big. He is getting so much. Herbmon actually has, like, really reasonable supply. He has good tech. He has his upgrades coming, no doubt. But Nesh sitting here on 4 bases and killing the 4th, as long as he starts really pumping vessels, honestly, like, if he just grabs another gas, adds a 3rd port, and just macros, like, see this micro here? Honestly, best case scenario for Nesh, just stop this, back up, macro really well, and Herbmon's going to get overwhelmed.
And this is where Herbmon does start falling apart oftentimes in his games. In this matchup in particular is where he's having to defend multiple fronts, deal with pockets, and can't reinforce. Point A, point B has to rely on Nidus. He is managing to get some Ultralisks out here, and that might be enough. Although he's going to need another Ultra, I think, to clear this, particularly without the Darkstorm support. and the fire bats underneath. Upgrade advantage, we got +2 weapons, and it looks like we do have that +3 carapace behind this. But yeah, Nesh is just so, like you said, he's huge. He's got all of this 144 supply. He's now sitting in this third, and Herbmon has to defend this. If he isn't able to repel Nesh, that is going to be game.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to run through the Dark Swarm. It reminds me of Iris back in the day. Just like, screw it, man, let's go. A lot of Lings coming out. He actually, I think Herbmon's just going to hold everything. Dark Swarm is a magical thing.
It is a magical thing, but this is starting. So now the work is okay, when does that extractor start moving towards depletion? Because Nesh, despite losing a few units here and there, he still has a sizable economy to just keep rolling out the troops. Although missing his macro a bit, he's got a lot of resources to work with.
Yeah, sorry, just to exactly what you were saying. I remember all of us in media used to make fun of Gretorp for this when he used to talk about 21-minute timing against Zerg, but he's actually right. You know, like 20 years later, I'm like, yes, he was actually quite brilliant about this. It's right around 21 minutes is when the main geyser goes down, and then something like 23 minutes. So it's like if you make it the 23-minute mark against Zerg, you've basically won the game.
In the meantime, it looks like Herbmon getting out on the field, going to try to attack the third, not currently mining, and unfortunately it looks like there was a large grouping of medic marines waiting for him, and without Darkstorm getting absolutely obliterated. Shouldn't be that long before +3 weapons, +3 armor is also finished, and also that lurker count has been slowly getting dwindled down. We got 4 science vessels now waiting, 5 science vessels here for Nesh to just continuously wipe that out. And yeah, I think Herbmon doesn't have, he's going to have to pull a miracle here to just find a way to get out on the map and start hurting Nesh in some way where he's not just ending up in a contained situation. Yeah,
the one thing we can say is the supply is very, very close. And that's always good for Zerg, because Zerg units are more supply efficient. So, like, anytime you see that supply for Zerg actually pass Terran, that's super, super strong. One thing to mention is the third base of Nesh has not been mining at all this game. Fourth base top left is. Third base hasn't been. So that's a bit of a mistake here. Nesh doesn't have a very big bank. If he were mining off all 4 bases, he would be able to support a lot more and have a lot more infantry. So that is a little bit of a problem. And honestly, Herbmon is coming back. Like, this has looked really bad for him, like, the whole game, but he is honestly coming back.
And I think this is a big reason for it right here, is despite having those 4 bases, you had those SCVs.
Oh, man.
A late mining, and
he has, like, nothing at his natural, too. That's what's going on. I was wondering, I'm like, what the hell? He should be maxed right now.
Yeah, I was looking up here, and I'm like, man, maybe Nesh is efficient. He's just holding some units somewhere on the map that I don't see. But all of a sudden, Herbmon with a 33 supply lead, and Nesh just not macroing very well. He was in a great position not too long ago if he had just been mining and macroing, but instead, Herbmon's swarming now to the top left, has a 15 supply lead opening up. He's got these cracklings harassing that SCV line to that corner, but Nesh going for a massive counterattack to the top right.
Wow. Okay, well, this is a very important attack. If he can deny the 4th base, this is still a game that he can absolutely take. Yeah, he's going to be able to easily melt through. Without defilers here, you're not really going to stop that many Marine and Medic.
Zerglings trailing all the way down to the natural expansion. Finally, some Marines able to intercept and take that out. Looks like Herbmon might be able to disrupt this third. So this is turning into an interesting match where top right is getting taken out. So 4th gas is going to be down for Herbmon, but his gas is very shortly going to be dwindling. He's going to not have enough gas to continuously produce the defilers, so he's going to have to hold top right. But this is turning into a starvation match, oddly, at around the 21-minute mark.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, that's actually very important to mention. Herbmon has about 4 minutes right now, where he's still going to be able to create units, and then he's going to be down to just Zerglings. So let's see if Nesh can actually re-secure this base. His command center almost burned down. You have got to repair that up. He has got to get that mining at full efficiency.
I think he's got enough to hold back the Zerglings, but if the Zerglings just run up and sneeze, and does he notice that it's burning is the next... Okay, he does get the SCV. Some Zerglings flooding in. They're going to try to disrupt this natural expansion. Herbmon doing a great job being a nuisance to try to open up some space. Also now gets the natural expansion command center.
Oh my god, that's huge. There's so many minerals left there, too.
Oh, and that now the distance mining to the main, but wow, I don't know. This is going to come down to, who's going to have the resources to make it happen? Because already we're seeing some gas problems for Herbmon.
Yeah, he's macroing down his gas super, super fast. That main geyser is going to be just about depleted right now. So, like, again, he needs to keep that pressure on. He is sending more and more Zerglings across the map. That was great usage to get rid of that natural CC. And now he's going to clear maybe the Marines in the top right.
So, yeah, it looks like the Ultras should be able to clear. And honestly, if he's able to clear top right and bring the Ultras down to the natural expansion, Herbmon might be able to take this game as long as he remembers. Oh, it looks like he did have. Oh, ate the drone to actually go ahead and clear this up. He does need to remember to retake this base so he can cap the gas behind this. But I don't think Nesh, if he does go for an attack, follows up. That's leaving him very, very vulnerable on multiple fronts. But we'll see how this plays out, because Nesh is starting to move out for another attack. He wants to deny that 4th gas. That is a win condition for him. But as he's moving all of this out, he has nothing left to defend his main.
His supply is really low right now. 85, 90 supply for Nesh against 100-something for Herbmon. Look at that. He finds immediately the relanded command center top left, so Nesh is going to have to lift that once again. And, you know, Nesh, I think his best chance here is regroup absolutely everything and find irradiate targets.
Meantime, Herbmon going to go ahead and try to take that low ground hatchery. Might want to cancel that. Some Zerglings trying to cut off reinforcements. Irradiated Ultralisk making its way in. So we got this pocket of Marines. I'm not sure where the Science Vessels are currently, but I think they're still active. Some Zerglings have made it into the main in the meantime for Herbmon. Big crash of Marines top right, and this is going to be a critical fight right here. If that hatchery goes down and that gas doesn't get established, Herbmon's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to get that hatchery once again. Was that the 3rd time that hatch has died this game? Kind of insane. And, you know, there are lings in Nesh's base. There's certainly still things going wrong. This is getting it to be one of those games where I actually get nervous that someone might leave and they totally shouldn't, because, like, it could go either way.
It's anybody's game. Herbmon responding to this by I think he's recognized that Nesh is low on the overall troop counts, and he's hurt his economy as well, so he's expanding literally everywhere. Single Marine working on that hatchery right there. He's got that. He's also trying to make the natural top left.
That's a big brain spot. You never look there as Terran. That would be it's so easy to kill, right? That's an LZ Gamer base.
LZ Gamer base. As long as he gets some gas. If he can get additional gas up and running, I think he's going to be able to pull this one out.
Yeah, no, I think you're right about that. There are still a few vessels floating around. The vessels get just so efficient at this point, and we are right around depletion for natural gas right now. We're nearing it. We can't check, unfortunately, in a live game, but trust me, those gas pockets are going to turn small in the next 30, 40 seconds.
Actually, we can kind of tell by the drones, because you can see where they start pulling out the
the small ball.
So here we can see the small balls depleted right there. But in the meantime, Zerglings making their way, trying to test this, but while all of this is being tested and forcing Nesh in a defensive slot, we got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 bases up for Herbmon, and all he really has to do is cap one of these gases and get it up and running under Nesh's nose.
Well, if Nesh can somehow clear 3 bases, then he's going to be fine. But yeah, Herbmon is about to explode as far as his economy goes.
And he's still got a supply lead and a decent amount of Ultralisks, but Nesh actually finding good irradiate targets, well, and also irradiating critically well before those Ultras are able to dive on those Marines to soften them up.
Yeah, those are very good irradiates. Like, this is so efficient for the late game right now. And Herbmon, you know, he's starting to get his mining really going, but he hasn't taken those gases yet, which is making me really nervous. He has a little bit of a bank left, but, like, right now he can basically only make Zerglings. Seriously, his natural gas should be completely empty by now. So,
yeah, we got this small empty gas right there.
You know, it's tough there as Zerg, right? If you're basically mining on 1.5 gas, that's like nothing.
Looks like we saw a small drop into the main. Some Zerglings have managed to get on some supply depots, which is cute and frustrating. I don't know if that's going to help him out. But Herbmon retreating to the top right. He does have a Defiler in position, which is going to buy him some time, but he's got a lot of territory to defend and not a lot of units to do it with.
Well, the 2 Ultras actually do a good job of stopping most of the Marines, but the few that get in should be able to kill this hatchery if he just targets it down. The rest of the Marines stimming to go elsewhere right now. You know what? There's so few units here for Herbmon. He has spent a lot of his bank, so there should be more of something coming, but that's 1 base down.
1 base down, Nesh moving in, wiping out the 3 o'clock. He's got, 1 base, working on the second. This is still up and running, but Herbmon's mostly forgotten about it looks like, but we do have that critical gas coming on. One thing is, so we got 2 active gas, 2 depleted gas. That sort of acts like 3. He really wants to cap an additional 1 on top of this.
All right, he saves this base. Very, very important. Of course, he still has that ninja base, that LZ Gamer base, which he's, like, the funny thing is, sometimes when you take a base like that and you're not used to it, you don't make anything there,
yeah, you forget the background.
I've done that before where I'm like, oh, I'll hide a command center this game, and then I just never make SCVs. I'm like, damn. But he's cleaned up a lot here. Nesh, though, is getting his macro going. He's still got pretty decent mining. Dude, this is the craziest back and forth game.
I'm actually not sure, like, at some point I'm like, oh yeah, I was expecting Herbmon to die a lot earlier, But Nesh, with the lack of macro floating command center, getting maybe his own ninja out there. I think Nesh's Herbmon actually really hurting for minerals right this second, or he's I always never know in this situation. Like, okay, is he mining well and really efficiently spending it, or is he just hurt right here? But right now, trying to regroup, trying to regather, is engaging on top of Nesh. Herbmon's actually got a supply lead. Lost a Defiler right there, but he's starting to take out science vessels, where those 5 science vessels were active this entire game. He's down to just the 1. 2.
Yeah, that is not very many vessels, and he does not have a real gas income either, because his gases are going to be just about empty too. Well, maybe not. He hasn't really been efficiently mining. Yeah, it looks like he still has gas actually there at his natural, but he doesn't have the 3rd gas taken either. So, like, the vessels are pretty hard to remake as well. And honestly, one thing to just mention is when you get this late into TvZ, it's always good to mix in more Firebats in your comp. Like, look at the amount of Zerglings and how well Herbmon is using them.
I feel like the thing for Zergling is his Be Chaotic, just run stuff absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
Because Terran needs to keep their stuff cohesive, and once it starts splitting up, you get picked off. And yeah, for Terran to have Firebats.
Yeah. True words were never said, man. It's.
So it looks like he's going to end up. So Nesh, I think this might be it, because he's got his Marines back in the main. But
he's using Burrow. Crazy.
He's got. Okay, Science Vessel count is regrown, and dropping some additional radiates to try to clear out these lurkers, but this 3 o'clock is up. That gas is mining. Herbmon hasn't forgotten about the gas top left, and so now he's got plenty of gas to work with. He's still got an army, and look at that count. And
oh, yeah.
And these are stranded science vessels that are getting picked off.
I think this is going to be game. I think Herbmon has done it. He has come back. It's, you know, Nesh definitely had the advantage early game. He was very close to a possible victory. But now Herbmon's macro is really hitting. He's got all those extra gases and everything. He's got a good drone count.
Just needs to remember to macro. I'm wondering how many. Okay, he does have some active hatcheries back up here.
Is he on 3-3 for his Lings and Ultras?
Let's go ahead and check.
2-2. Still good, but maybe misses that 1 carapace. GG! Woo!
Exciting one.
Dude.
A little unfair you're casting this one since you're playing the winner.
Well, I'd be standing behind him if I wasn't casting it, that's for sure. But actually, it is so hot in here. I'm going to go see if someone else wants to cast the next game with you, Diggity. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely.